Hey guys, in this video I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the difference between a data analyst and a data scientist. These are two different jobs that really are very different, but a lot of people confuse the two. And so I'm going to tell you in very simple terms what the difference is. Now, a data scientist and data analyst, they are related. A data scientist is basically a data analyst on steroids. A data scientist has to do everything that a data analyst does, plus a lot more. And the data scientist job is quite a lot more complex. It's quite a lot more difficult. There are quite a lot more tools and a lot of advanced math that they have to do that the data analyst does not. And so as a result, it's a lot more difficult to get a job as a data scientist, and two, it pays quite a lot more because they have to have such an enormous skill set. So you hear a lot of talk about the data scientist. It's kind of the sexy job, right? Glassdoor ranks it as the #2 best job in the world right now. A real easy way to think of it is that learning to be a data analyst is like learning how to drive a car, right? But then learning to be a data scientist is like being a NASCAR driver, right? You have to know everything about driving a car, but you have to know a heck of a lot more, right? Being a NASCAR driver is a lot more difficult than just driving your Camry down the road. But it's also a step on the road, right? So if your dream is to be a NASCAR driver, well, probably you should start by learning how to drive your Camry, right? Probably you should start by learning how to drive in a normal situation, and then once you have that mastered, then you can take that additional step to become a race car driver. Right? It's the same thing with a data scientist or a data analyst. So let's get into a little bit more specifics. Now, there are two questions that a data scientist / data analyst is responsible for answering. Number one is, what happened? Two is, what is going to happen? Now, question number one, what happened? This is what the data analyst answers, right? If you're a data analyst, you have to answer the question, what happened in the past? What happened with this order? What happened with this customer? What were our sales last month? What were our sales last year? What were our sales by month for all of the months of last year? What were our sales per store location, etc.? Like, what happened in the past? It's a bunch of questions about what happened in the past. That's what the data analyst has to answer. Now, what's going to happen in the future, that's what the data scientist has to answer. Now, in order to answer this question, he first has to figure out what happened in the past, right? Based on what happened in the past, what do we predict is going to happen in the future? So the data scientist has to do the data analyst's job, right? He has to figure out what happened, but then he has to do this additional step of what's going to happen in the future. So data scientist does both of these. Now, as you could probably imagine, trying to predict what's going to happen in the future is a heck of a lot more difficult than just showing what already happened in the past. Right? Trying to predict what's happening in the future uses a lot of very interesting math. It's a lot of programming algorithms. If you see the terms machine learning or statistical inference, predictive analytics, that's all this stuff, right? That's all the sexy stuff that people are talking about that's kind of at the forefront of the career field right now. But that's what the data scientists do, right? Data analysts do not have to worry about this, which is a very good thing because learning how to do this is very difficult and it takes a long time. And if you would like to be a data scientist eventually, then being a data analyst first is a great first step because, again, data scientist needs to know how to do step one, right? So if you are a data analyst, you have half of what it takes to be a data scientist. And so it's much easier to get a job as a data analyst, get good at step one, and then make the transition to data scientist than it is to go just directly from zero to data scientist. That's near impossible. Oh, and by the way, this difference that I'm showing you, the colleges haven't figured this out. I thought this was funny. You know, I always talk about how colleges are completely divorced from the real world. They don't understand what's going on in the actual job market. I just got an email earlier today, I think it was earlier today, from a college course offering to advance your career in data analysis. I think that was the wording. They say, become a data analyst, something like that. And then in the body of the email, it talks about how to do machine learning and statistical analysis. Basically, it tells you how to do step 2. Right? So that they're telling you, we're going to help you become a data analyst. And so they're telling you, we're going to teach you data scientist skills. Like, these people are completely divorced from the job market. They have absolutely no idea what's going on here. So whenever you see those terms, data analyst or data scientist, be a little bit skeptical, kind of look into what they're talking about. If they're talking about how they're going to make you a data analyst, well, are they teaching you this number 2 stuff that's going to be a lot of work, a lot of difficulty, probably very discouraging unless you're an extremely intelligent person that just kind of takes to this stuff naturally? And they might actually derail you from what could have been a great career as a data analyst because they're misrepresenting it. So I hope you found this helpful. If you are interested in becoming a data analyst and getting hired at a high-paying career as a data analyst, and maybe in the future working as a data scientist, if that's what floats your boat, there's a lot of ways to grow from a data analyst career. Becoming a data scientist is just one of those ways. But if you would like to get hired as a data analyst, actually a data analyst, in as little time as possible, then I'd love to help you do that. You can click the link below, answer a few questions about yourself, and book a call with me or my team. We'll talk to you a little bit about what you'd like to accomplish. We'll talk to you about where you're starting from, and see if it's a good fit for you to join the Data Analyst in 8 Weeks coaching program, where I will actually hold your hand and walk you through every step of getting a job as a data analyst. So if that's of interest to you, then click the link and apply to talk to us. And if you haven't already, then watch my presentation on how to get a $70,000 more job as a data analyst, even if you have no skills, no experience, and no college degree. I'll put the link below as well. Please watch that presentation before you apply and before you book a call with us, because that will give you a lot of the information about what this career field is and how we can help you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.